Iron is a good one.
Yeah, because it's a really finicky one to dose. We have something called hepcidin. So hepcidin is basically our body's safety mechanism.
Handbrake.
Yeah, handbrake. So to stop us absorbing too much iron at once. So your body goes, oh, there's a bit of iron coming in. That's okay. Oh, there's a big whack of iron. Get the hepcidin in and it'll block the absorption.
Yeah.
And we produce more at nighttime. It's higher at nighttime than in the morning.
Yeah, okay.
So therefore you want to dose your iron in the morning.
Ooh, good.
But
Clever.
then there's other caveats, Steve.
Oh, now I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Geez,
so
Beck, Beck, if you're listening to this, I didn't know that. I'm sorry. But...
Hey everyone, welcome to the ATP Project. You're with your hosts, Steve and Nic.
Oh, hopefully
got that wrong, didn't I?
I know, you need a bit of caffeine.
I don't do caffeine though.
You don't, that's right.
Neither do you, Steve.
Well,
you don't do coffee.
But it's funny, we mentioned caffeine, and that's probably part of the topic of what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Because what are we talking about today?
We are talking about supplement timing.
Ah, so not what to take, but when to take it. And that can't be important, can it?
No, not at all.
Like we just mentioned caffeine.
Yeah.
That's an obvious one, isn't it?
It is pretty obvious.
We're not going to cover that one, are we?
I don't think we need to cover that one. I think that people are pretty all over that.
I think that's pretty obvious, but it is about when to take certain supplements.
Yeah.
And that's a really interesting point because you do this for a job. Nicole Brown, naturopathy. You're a practicing naturopath. You don't tell people just what to take, it's when to take something.
Yeah. I mean, that's really important.
Caffeine, I mean, I've got some in there, a nootropic in there that's got caffeine. And we're recording this and it's about 5 to 10 in the morning here. Caffeine has a half-life of 5 hours. So by the time I finish that drink, which will be in about an hour, the caffeine will be in my system, but then it'll slowly be detoxified.
Yes.
So, but I wouldn't take this if it was, 5 to 10 at night.
No.
And that's obvious, bleedingly obvious. So we're not covering caffeine, but that's an example of what we're talking about today, because there are certain things you should take in the morning, certain things with food, after food, before food, during food.
Different types of food as well.
Types of food. And also exercise when you take supplements.
Yes. There's a lot in it. It's not just a matter of grab your supplements and take them willy-nilly. There's a bit of a science to it.
Yep.
And there's reasons for taking things at certain times with certain types of foods and all that sort of thing. So we're going to jump in and go through it all.
And the first one we're going to talk about, which is because alphabetical order.
Yes.
Adaptogens. Now that is, we've got so many to get through, so we better sort of move these. I'm thinking of timing and that. But it's very interesting because adaptogens, what are adaptogens anyway? They're a herbal thing, aren't they? What are they?
So adaptogens, and we've talked about adaptogens so many times on the podcast, people are probably sort of getting their head around it. But adaptogens, they're just to modulate. So say an adaptogen for stress, for instance, so cortisol. One may reduce your cortisol levels down to a nice level or increase them if they're low.
Yep.
Decrease them if they're high is what I mean. So they modulate. They help your body adapt.
They do.
Whether high, low, otherwise. So, but there's different types of adaptogens. We have stimulating adaptogens. We have adaptogens. We have calming adaptogens. So, if you don't want to be taking something like a Panax ginseng before you go to bed.
No, I'm having some in the drink there now.
Oh, there you go.
So it is the morning, of course, just for those, we're recording this in the morning. But I wouldn't be drinking that at night because that'd be daft.
Yeah.
But adaptogens are interesting because it's an adaptogen that is widely used. Let's just call it ashwagandha, withania is its Latin name. And that is one that can be taken in the morning and the afternoon and is beneficial at both times.
That's right. Because it's an adaptogen, it helps to bring you up if you're down and down if you're up. But there are some, as you said, so the purely stimulating adaptogens you do not want to take at night because they stimulate. They can help to bring up your cortisol levels. You don't want that before bed, obviously.
No.
So things like your Panax ginseng, as we said, is one. One that I am cautious of is rhodiola.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some rhodiola, it is for stress and for calming and that sort of thing, but some people can actually cause anxiety.
Yeah.
So not everybody. So if you are taking an adaptogenic supplement and it's got a few adaptogens in it and it's got rhodiola in it, or you're just purely taking rhodiola because you've heard that it's really good for stress, which it is.
It is.
Some people can make them very anxious.
Yeah.
So be careful of rhodiola if you're a bit sensitive. Licorice is another one.
Ooh.
Yeah, so licorice, it does help to bring up your cortisol levels. So very good for people who have really flatlined. And so they can take it sort of both ends of the day. Really, it's not as big of a deal. But Be careful with licorice if you don't have super low cortisol because it can bring it up. Therefore, it's too stimulating.
It also inhibits the breakdown of cortisol.
It does, yeah.
Which is good. There's an enzyme called 11-hydroxy-beta-steroid dehydrogenase, which breaks down cortisol and inhibits that.
Yeah.
So you end up with more cortisol.
Yes.
So and you want cortisol higher in the morning because we are diurnal creatures. We don't stay awake all night.
Well, I think they do this.
We're talking to Sam out there, young guy who works here, and we were talking about that. And he's funny because he's a young guy, and he told us that he doesn't mind sharing the story. He used to work out at 10 o'clock at night. I can't even fathom that.
I know a lot of people that do that coming from the gyms years ago. A lot of people I know work out at 10 at night, midnight, and I'm like, I can't think of anything worse.
I used to surf at 4 in the morning after playing music.
See, I could do that. Because I'm a morning person.
Yeah, it was dawn. It was like first break of light on the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
And I'd come home from busking in surface and I'd feel crap. You feel sweaty and yucky. This is in summer.
Yeah.
And you just go surfing, and it was a great way to wind down. Yeah.
People don't even know that part of the day exists, a lot of people. But I used to get up. I used to love doing my exercise in the dark. So I'd get up super early and do it before the light came up.
Yep.
I don't do that now, but I will get up at 4:35 and train. But yeah, I could do early, but I couldn't do late.
No.
I couldn't do late.
I'm a bit like that.
Anyway, that's
all right. So that's an adaptogen. And we're going to scoot through. This is a bit of a, few minutes each one. Now, the next one is amino acids. Now, this is a tricky one because there are amino acids that I would take in the evening.
Yeah.
And then there's amino acids that I would take in the morning.
Yeah.
Like an evening one would be glycine.
Yes.
Now, you can also, glycine is often bound with magnesium. And magnesium is a good one to take at night too.
Yes.
L-theanine is an amino acid found in teas, and that's good to take in the evening.
Yeah.
So, but there are amino acids like leucine that people take as before exercise, for example.
Yeah.
So it's tricky, isn't it? It's like, which amino acid are you talking about? There's about 22 of them.
There's loads of them, yeah.
I mean, some don't matter. I don't think taurine matters, does it?
No, I give taurine at night and in the morning. Taurine's great for the nervous system as well, so it's very good for that, for the nighttime. So, yeah, taurine, L-theanine, really good at night. Glycine, as you said, good for nighttime. So, yeah, amino acids, and then you can get, you can get your amino acids in a package like protein.
Yes.
You can get single amino acids, so it depends what you're taking, really.
Yeah, it's tricky, isn't it? I mean, there's some that, like L-glutamine is a good one because it helps the gut, of course, but it also helps the brain because L-glutamine can be turned into glutamic acid, which is, stimulatory for the brain, which then turns into GABA, which is inhibitory for the brain.
That's right, exactly.
That's just, it's a bit tricky. We'll skip the next couple and the binders.
How about we go B vitamins, Steve?
B vitamins, let's go. All right. B for B vitamins.
So, I mean, most of the time when I give Bs, I give them in a complex because they work synergistically together.
They do.
Most people will probably be taking a B complex. Some people may take a B12 and some people may take a B6 separately, but most of the time it's in a complex. So I usually give them in the mornings because they can be stimulating, particularly the B12s more so can be stimulating. So I generally give them in the mornings.
Yeah.
With food or without food, it depends. So I can take them without food. Some people, I never used to be able to, but I do now. I have my little mix in the morning I take the bees.
See, I take them with food. But that's because bees are found in food, and I think that's a natural way to help them absorb and all that. And plus you get a more complex of other nutrients. But you can take them on their own. There are supplements you can take first thing in the morning that might have a good adaptogen and B vitamins.
That's right.
Activated B vitamins.
Exactly. So all together.
It's a good one.
So your Bs in the morning. I will give B6 at night time though.
Yeah. Now B6 is required to make serotonin and melatonin.
Yeah.
So B6 is a good one to take in the evening.
Yes. It's good to pair with your magnesiums and things like that, and your taurines and your glycines actually make your B6. So that's a really good one for nighttime. We'll give that at night. So, and then B12 I can give separately as well.
Yeah.
So, and I give that again before lunchtime. So some people don't eat breakfast and they can't take supplements on an empty stomach.
Right.
So therefore I go, well, you have to take it with the first meal of the day.
Yeah.
Which generally would be lunch for some people.
Yep.
So B12 I usually say don't take it any sort of later than early afternoon.
Yeah, it's the classic old B12 in the old days where people get a B12 shot and be full of energy.
Yeah.
So you don't want that at night.
No.
It's funny because you need energy to sleep, but you need corrected energy. So, let's stick with some of the B vitamins. I'll stick with the vitamins because we've got a few to go through. I know I'm seeing you be rushing this. But let's start with vitamin A.
Yes.
Now, that's not usually like it is found in supplements. It's not as popular as it once was.
No, it's not as popular. I think because there was the big fear around vitamin A causing birth defects. And it's high, toxicity to the liver and all of that sort of thing. So in high doses, but even that's now been proven to be not entirely true.
No, not entirely true.
You can take a lot higher vitamin A than they said used to be. 750.
I remember in the early days that you could give up to 500,000 IUs, and that's a long time ago. But that was like when you had a cold or flu for a few days. But vitamin A can do things with your body and that. But
also the form of vitamin A.
Yeah.
There's worse forms than others. So, vitamin A, you just want it. But the thing with vitamin A, you want to take it with food, Steve.
Yeah, and with fatty foods.
Yes, because it's fat-soluble.
Yeah, so, I mean, you take it with dinner because dinner is typically the heaviest, fattiest foods, although I eat a lot for breakfast.
Do you?
Yeah, well, sometimes 6 eggs and bacon.
Yeah, see, I'm not a massive breakfast person.
I'm a massive eater, full stop. I'm a gut.
Yeah, look, I could be a big. I probably am a big eater in comparison to most women. Yeah, probably am because I used to eat a lot when I used to train a lot. I used to eat a lot.
How many meals a day?
Maybe 5 or 6.
Oh, I'm going to call you Ronnie Coleman from now on.
But now I don't do even if I do still train, but if I trained the way that I used to train, I probably wouldn't go back to 5 or 6 meals a day. I'd stick with 3.
Right. Yeah, give your gut a rest.
Yeah.
Well, Ronnie Coleman used to say that was the hardest part about his training, all the eating it, to bulk up.
Yeah. It's a lot of I mean, we just did a podcast yesterday on cutting, but particularly women don't eat enough.
Yeah.
And if you try to get them to eat what they're supposed to eat, they can't do it. Yeah. It's too much. I can't eat all this food.
And this is where supplements can be useful to just top up, emergencies and that sort of stuff. Now, vitamin D is an interesting one because that's a slightly controversial one because it is fat soluble. It's got a very long half-life in the body. It sticks around. So in hospitals, if someone's got, say, for example, cystic fibrosis, which is a terrible disease, by the way, a genetic disease where people can't absorb fat-soluble vitamins, so they have to take a huge dose, they usually give 25,000 a week.
Yeah.
So, everyone thinks supplements is a daily thing.
Yeah.
You don't have to. In pharmacies, you can get 7,000 IUs and you take one of those a week.
Yes.
If you wanted to.
Yep.
Or you can do what I do and give people super high doses when they're sick.
Yes.
And you just take it, about 10,000 twice a day.
Yeah.
I go nuts with it.
Short-term people.
Short-term, yeah.
And also with vitamin D, get your levels checked.
You can, yeah.
Before you take it. I mean, you can take lower doses ongoing and it's not really a massive deal. But, I mean, I would see more high vitamin D levels than I would see low.
Really?
Because everyone's so conscious
Paranoid.
of having good vitamin D levels that they probably can go a little bit too far the other way. And it is a fat-soluble vitamin. So, as you said, it takes a while to leave the body. So it can become toxic if it's in very high doses.
Yeah.
So you just want to get your levels checked. I always give vitamin D in the morning.
Okay.
The reason being, this is just the way my mind works.
Okay, I want to hear this.
I like to, as you said, we go in rhythms, and the sun comes up in the morning. We get the sun in the morning and during the day on our skin for the vitamin D conversion.
Yep.
So I just put the vitamin D in there in the morning. That's just the way I think. We go with nature.
Go with nature.
Yeah.
I like it.
We don't get the sunshine at night.
I like it. 3 types of vitamin D, D1, D2, D3.
That's ironic.
That's good on an exam, isn't it? Right. Well, D1 synthetic, so we'll just write that one off.
Yeah.
D2 is the one found in food. D3 is the one you make in your skin. Now, you can get supplementation, so look for the D3 type.
Yes.
That's the best supplementation type, but D2 is fine as well. It's just less active.
Yeah. D3 is D3. You can get D3, K2 is a good combination.
It is.
K2 as well for the bones. I like that combos.
We'll get to K because K is an interesting one.
Oh, we've got K in there too, do we? Oh, we do have K.
It comes after the letters A, B, C, D.
Oh, ironic again. Yeah, okay.
Well, we'll go to another fat-soluble vitamin E,
Yes.
usually found in nuts and seeds. So
Yes.
I eat a lot of nuts, as you know, so I probably get a lot of vitamin E. But vitamin E is a tricky one because we recorded a podcast yesterday on bad type supplements and vitamin E made the list.
It did.
Because there's D-alpha tocopherol, that's the most common form, but then there's DL alpha tocopherol, and that's a synthetic form of vitamin E that I'd be wary of.
Yeah.
And there's just alpha tocopherol, which is usually an oil capsule, and you can get the succinate form or the acetate form. It goes on forever. The succinate form is good for the prostate.
Yes.
So that might be good for older folk like me.
Okay.
But when do you give vitamin E? Does it matter?
I I give it any time of the day. I take my vitamin E at nighttime. I take it with fat.
Yeah.
Because it's fat soluble.
Yep.
So I take it with, and not specifically I have to have a piece, to have some fat, whether it's oil or anything with it. I just take it after dinner. And so in my dinner there's always a little bit of fat.
Yep.
So that's fine. Within a couple of hours after dinner I'm happy to do that. But yeah, at nighttime only because I have my little protocols that I have throughout the day, and that's just my night protocol. I have a lot. I take a bit of stuff.
Yeah, we
Not
do.
too bad.
Well, we both take a bit of stuff, and it varies a bit depending on the year and that sort of stuff. Now, you mentioned vitamin K before. Vitamin K is usually made in the gut, but it's found in green leafy vegetables, and it's a fat soluble nutrient. When do you give vitamin K?
So I generally give vitamin K with food.
Yeah.
And again, I don't really mind too much if you take it morning or evening.
No.
It doesn't really matter that much.
Doesn't matter to me.
No. So if it's with vitamin D, so if it's a DK combination, obviously in the morning because of the vitamin D.
Yep.
But otherwise it doesn't really matter.
Nah. And vitamin K, there was some good studies on it recently for morning sickness, which I found very interesting. So, yeah. But that we're not talking about vitamin K today, we're talking about when to take it and that sort of stuff. Okay, so we're on the vitamins. So what about vitamin C?
So I take vitamin C twice a day.
Yeah. Now it's interesting you said twice a day.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I do. I take it in the morning and the night.
Yeah.
And simply about 12 hours apart because vitamin C completely goes out of your body very quickly.
Short half-life.
Very short half-life.
Yeah.
So morning and afternoon. I take it with food. What do you do?
I take my morning one without food only because the way my day is set up, I can't take it any other time. So I take it with some of my other supplements. I don't take it. I train in the morning.
Yep.
I do train fasted. I may have a little bit of protein powder, but and then I will wait an hour before I take my first lot of supplements because it's got vitamin E in it and vitamin C and a few other antioxidants. So I don't like putting antioxidants in straight after I've trained.
Yes, you got to keep the free radicals there for sensitivity of insulin.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
We could do a podcast on that.
We could do a podcast probably on that. So if you're taking any antioxidants, don't take them straight after you train.
Definitely not.
No, because you want that inflammation. You want a little bit of that. So you don't want to dampen that down too much. So I take my vitamin C about an hour after, and I do take it without food. Sometimes I take it just before I have my shake, but because I mix it with other things. But it depends on the person's stomach as well. Like if you have a really sensitive stomach, you may not be able to tolerate the vitamin C. There are different forms of vitamin C. So liposomal vitamin C is much better absorbed and it's much easier on the stomach as well. Yeah, because it's basically contained in a
vitamin C, the other
form.
name of that is ascorbic acid.
Yeah, well, it gives it away really, doesn't it? But yeah, and you can high dose vitamin C, like a super high dose vitamin C for different reasons. So one, if you have adrenal maladaptation,
yes,
you want a high dose vitamin C because the adrenals store a lot of vitamin C, can be depleted quite easily.
Yeah.
And then for cardiovascular issues, I do high dose vitamin C as well, quite high dose, 10 grams even sometimes, pretty high dose.
Orally? Yeah,
yes,
of course,
orally. You can do IV. There's IV vitamin C. And then there is a caveat. If you have high oxalates, don't do high dose vitamin C. So because it can make oxalate, you can create more oxalates in your body. And oxalates are like tiny little crystals that you can get through food and your body can make them usually through fungal overgrowth. So fungus and things can make it, yeasts can make them. So if you have candidas and things, you might have high oxalates. But vitamin C can make them worse. And the oxalates, they can lodge in your joints, in your organs, and they can also bind to essential nutrients. So
like
your magnesiums and calciums and zincs and things. And then, people can end up with thyroid issues because they haven't got the zincs and those sorts of things. So caveat, if you have issues or even kidney stuff, maybe don't do high-dose vitamin C.
Well, that's what we like.
Oxalates.
Yeah, and we like magnesium citrate too. That has a positive effect on getting rid of oxalates, doesn't it?
Yeah. So you can take calcium, magnesium to bind to, like, say you're eating food that's got high oxalates in it, sweet potatoes and spinach and things like that. You can take calcium, magnesium at the same time and it will bind to any of those oxalates. So, but that's just a caveat with vitamin C. Otherwise, throughout the day, it's for specific reasons. As I said, adrenal maladaptation or extreme stress, cardiovascular issues, any inflammatory conditions and things like that, you can high dose it. So I do probably about 5 grams a day now for myself, but for clients, yeah.
Whoa, that surprised me.
Oh, does it?
5 grams a day.
Yeah. It's split dose, yeah, 2.5 grams. Yeah.
That's amazing. I didn't think you'd be that high. I'm like half a gram a day.
I used to do a lot higher. I used to do 10. Really? I used to do 10 grams a day. Yeah. And then I did an organic acid. Fine. I tolerate high doses of it. But then I did an organic acid test and I had high oxalates. Oh, so then I just cut all my vitamin C out for a while.
Yeah.
Until I got that sorted out. But yeah, I do it now for cardiovascular health because I'm in my second half of my life.
28.
Yeah, that's
right.
Yeah, I'm past a certain point in life.
27,
yeah, that's it. So I do it, and inflammation and all that sort of thing, and skin health as well. It's really good for skin health.
Geez, based on that, I should be on about 50 grams of vitamin C.
You should be, bucket loads of it.
Whenever you read a study on this, is what we get. I don't know if you, but I get sucked into it. You read study and you go, "Oh, that's amazing. I need to take more of that."
I know, and you could do that.
That was yeah.
Every supplement, you go, well, this is the one I need, and this is the one. So you got to pick and choose what's what. But vitamin C, look, it's just does so much in the body. It's not just cheap. For in immune. Yeah, it's cheap. Again, get a good good quality one, and get one with bioflavonoids.
Yeah,
has to be paired with bioflavonoids.
Now, quercetin.
Rutin, luteolin.
Yep.
Yeah, all that sort of things. So, what about iron, Steve?
Iron.
I've got iron.
Can we call it iron?
Iron. O2.
It's not on this list, but iron's a good one. Iron's a good one.
Iron is a good one.
Iron is a good one.
Yeah, because it's a really finicky one to dose.
Yeah, it's tricky.
Yeah. We touched on it in the one podcast we did yesterday, actually.
How do you go about dosing it? Assuming it's the good stuff, iron, diglycinate, iron 2. Yep.
Yeah, make sure it's a good form. So it depends on the person. So if you have a significant depletion, you can take iron every day.
Yep.
If you have a moderate deficiency in iron, you don't really want to dose it every day.
No.
Now, there's so many different things around it. So we have something called hepcidin.
I was going to say, do you know the chemical?
Yeah. So hepcidin is basically our body's safety mechanism.
Handbrake.
Yeah, handbrake. So to stop us absorbing too much iron at once, because iron is a heavy metal, it can be toxic.
It's toxic,
you don't want to take too much in at once. So your body goes, oh, there's a bit of iron coming in. That's okay. Oh, there's a big whack of iron. Whoop, get the hepcidin in, and it'll block the absorption.
Yeah.
So hepcidin, we produce it, and we produce more at nighttime. It's higher at nighttime than in the morning.
Yeah, okay.
So therefore you want to dose your iron in the morning.
Ooh, good.
But
clever.
then there's other caveats, Steve.
Oh, now
so
what?
So say you've got up and you've trained, exercised, gone to the gym, come back and I'll just pop my iron now, or, maybe I'll wait a couple of hours and I'll take my vitamin C once everything's calmed down, and I might put my iron with my vitamin C in about 3-4 hours' time, because iron helps with the uptake of vitamin C.
Yep.
So hepcidin will come up 3 hours after excercise.
Ah.
Yeah. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Jeez,
so
Beck, if you're listening to this, I didn't know that. I'm sorry. But that's a good point. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So take your iron within an hour of finishing training, if you need to take iron, that is, if you have deficiency. Take it within that hour window after training, because only time after that the hepcidin starts to come up and it'll block it.
Do you know where hepcidin comes from in evolutionary terms?
No, tell me.
Okay, so let's say you're out in the bush and you haven't eaten much, okay, and you're hunting an animal, you kill it, you catch it, say it's kangaroo, because we're in Australia, loaded with iron.
Yes.
If you absorbed all the iron out of that big meal you had that night by killing that kangaroo, you'd probably die.
Yeah.
Oh, not die, you get liver damage. So humans have evolved to be able to not consume, not take in that load of iron, so it's not toxic for us, because we've been eating animals for millions of years, or over a million years. So this is an amazing adaptation as a hunter and gatherer that we've evolved. And you've got to remember, iron is extremely abundant on Earth. Yeah. In fact, most of the Earth, by weight, is made of iron. The sun, and I'm sorry to go physics on you here, but the sun actually makes up to the element iron before it then disintegrates, because it's a certain size star.
Right.
The heavier elements are made in a supernova, which is when a sun goes supernova, which ours won't, because it's too small, pathetic little thing. But it will make iron. And that's why our star is a second generation star. So it's already sort of expended the iron out of it. That's why the Earth's mostly made of iron, the inner rocks.
There you go.
The outer ones are gas giants. So they're all hydrogen and stuff like that, if you know that from, Neptune's and all that the stuff out there.
Yeah.
And I was going to say Uranus, but I won't. Those planets. I didn't name the bloody thing.
Yes.
Or as Neil deGrasse Tyson called Uranus.
Oh, Uranus.
Which I think is a more G-rated word.
Yes, it's a better way to say it.
So iron is essential for humans. That's why we're iron beasts. That's why there's iron throughout our entire body.
Yeah.
Because we've literally evolved on a planet that's made of iron. So it's toxic if you've got too much of it, but the body has got great ways of dealing with it.
Yeah. So there you go.
Amazing, eh?
Yeah. So and then if you're going to take anything up to 30 milligrams a day, you can take without the hepcidin coming up.
Ah, okay.
Unless you've exercised and don't take it at night. So take it in the morning. But if you're going to take more than that, and we know things like Maltophor is like 100
milligrams of elemental iron. It's
really
astronomical.
High. And doctors are telling their patients to take that every day.
Yeah.
They're not going to absorb it because it's too much coming in at once. So anything over 30 milligrams, then you want to supplement your iron every second day.
Yeah.
So that sort of then you sort of alleviate that that inhibition. So that's a really finicky one. And then take it with vitamin C.
Yeah.
Because it helps you uptake. You can also take with lactoferrin.
Lactoferrin?
Yep.
Yep, which is a substance that's found in colostrum, but all sorts of other things.
Yeah. And a lot of good iron supplements, one I prescribe has lactoferrin in it. Oh. And here's another really good trick for you. If you really struggle to uptake iron, and you've done all these things, try adding lysine to it. Because lysine will also help the uptake. Yeah, as well. So that's another little trick if you're really struggling to get your iron levels up. Lysine can help some people as well.
And women are much more prone to iron deficiency. I think it was one study I saw 7 out of 10 women are low or suboptimal in iron because women bleed. And so they lose a lot more iron and they tend to eat less steak than the men.
They eat less red meat as well. Yeah.
And men are more prone to eating red meat and that. And so, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Gee, iron just blew out there. I didn't even have it on the list here.
Yeah,
it's clever girl.
It's not as
That's why you're in practice. See, I just look all this stuff. It's like, wow, love it.
So be careful with your iron supplementation. Just you really got to know how to take it properly.
Now, iron, and I'm going to get chemistry on you here, is the iron we take is 2+. Okay, so is zinc, so is calcium, so is magnesium.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about those other minerals now.
Yes.
So what would happen if you took zinc 2+, which is a 2+, with iron 2+? They counteract each other, don't they?
Yeah.
So a lot of multivitamins have iron and zinc together, and it just says take it, and the body will get most of it. It's not going to kill you, but optimally, and we're talking about optimally, this is about the timing supplement. So zinc and iron should be taken sort of separately.
Yeah, considering, you can take them in smaller doses together and there doesn't seem to be any major issues, but if you're taking them at a therapeutic dose, which is what we would generally be giving, then, zinc's, I can give up to 50 milligrams zinc.
Milligrams of zinc,
so that's a pretty high dose.
Yeah.
And then in iron, obviously, up to 30 milligrams. Yeah. So they're a bit higher than you would get in probably your supplements. Yeah, so you don't want to be then taking them at the same time because they will sort of cancel each other out effectively.
For sure.
So, be careful of that. But, that's
good one. But now let's go on to calcium. Because now calcium is a tricky one because that if you were supplementing with calcium, it could be up to 1 gram of calcium a day. The RDA, just for those who care about RDAs, I don't really, but it's about 800 milligrams. Yeah. More if you're a woman of certain ages.
1.2, I think, isn't it?
1.2 grams or something. And if you're pregnant, it's like 1.5 because you're growing a skeletal system inside you.
Yeah.
For those who aren't watching, Nic just squinted her face. It's true. You grow a skeletal system.
It's true. I know.
In 9.5 months, you'll have a full skeleton in your body.
Yeah, no.
Well, that's how we're all born.
I know.
I didn't write the rules on this. It's I know. But yeah, so you're growing a complete skeletal, so you need more calcium.
You do.
And other stuff too.
And the thing is, with a baby, a fetus, they will never go without.
No.
So they will just suck it out of you. So if you don't add an extra, they'll just take, because I knew somebody who her teeth fell out because she didn't get enough calcium. She wasn't taking calcium when she was pregnant, and she lost quite a few of her teeth because the baby's like, well, it's all about me, so I'll just take it all and deplete the mother. So so the baby won't ever miss out. So he'll just take it all off you.
Amazing. I mean, the babies, the only time they do miss out is if you're completely deficient in a mineral like iodine. And one of the most common neurological diseases of kids is cretinism, which is a terrible illness for kids. But but you have to really be completely depleted. And luckily women have bones, but they just rob them from your bones and teeth.
Yeah.
Gee, sounds like a great deal, doesn't it? Can't wait to get pregnant. I'm on the pill, so I won't get pregnant.
Yes. I could say something, but I won't.
No. Yeah. Oh, God, so much. Such a big area that we could. Oh, Nic, all right. So these poor women who fall pregnant, growing skeletal systems inside them, robbing their teeth blind of calcium.
That's right.
When do you think is the best time to give calcium for these women? Because they need it.
Yeah.
When's the best time?
So you want to give it multiple times throughout the day, Steve?
Yeah, huge doses,
big doses, and away from your other supplements because it is such huge doses.
Yeah, and you give magnesium citrate.
Yeah.
Or hydroxyapatite we used to bring out in the olden days. And it's funny because you often find magnesium and calcium together.
You do.
And that may not be ideal.
No, it's not.
Because they are both 2+ valencies.
Yeah.
So you've got 2+ valency receptors in your gut. So there's so much it can take in. So it's really tricky.
Yeah.
So calcium's a tricky one. Okay, now I mentioned magnesium. When do you think magnesium should be drunk or taken? I should say drunk.
Twice a day, I think. Or even more.
Yeah.
Depends. But I'd like to bookend my day with magnesium.
Bookend your day?
Yeah.
How cute is that?
I know,
So what do you mean by book? What do you do?
Like a bookend.
Yeah,
One in the morning and in the evening.
I hear.
So in the evening, do like glycinate. I do glycinate, Threonate, Orotate, and Citrate now at night time. I do all four in one.
Exactly what I've got in my drink bottle there.
How ironic. But yeah, so glycinate primarily I would do at night time otherwise because it's really good for sleeping. And then I would do like a citrate in the morning.
Yeah, good.
So I do a citrate in the morning and then I do a combo of the 4 that I just said at night time at the moment. But I bookend it.
And it sounds weird having like 4 different types and you think, well, who's going to buy that? They do come together. There are products that have them all
individually.
You don't have to go out and dose them up. You can find them together out there if you look hard enough.
Yeah, and the Threonate's really good because it crosses the blood-brain barrier, gets into the brain, and it's really calming for the brain at night time.
It doesn't make you sleep.
No.
But it just calms you down.
Yeah.
Like, I said I've drunk a lot this morning and I'm not
still awake.
No, I don't. I feel quite awake and it's good. Okay, speaking of kind of wide awake stuff, I'm going to go to Coenzyme Q10 now.
Yes.
Now, Coenzyme Q10 is involved in the electron transfer chain, energy production. So it gives you a little bit of a hint. When would you take CoQ10?
Morning. I have given it morning and night.
Oh, you're giving it at night?
The reason I have given it, morning and afternoon, because if I sometimes have to dose it twice a day with somebody, where do you do it? So I do it sort of afternoonish, not right before bed, but primarily morning is best because some people can actually feel a little bit stimulated from CoQ10. I'm one of them.
Really?
I'm very sensitive.
I don't know if I feel that.
I do. I'm very sensitive to supplements, but and take it with a fat, Steve, because it's fat soluble. You need to take CoQ10 with a fat in the morning primarily.
For those who don't know, CoQ10 is made in the body from this wicked substance called cholesterol. It makes all your hormones too.
Yeah.
And if you're on a statin medication that inhibit the enzyme 3-hydroxy, 3-methyl-glucocoenzyme reductase, that's the enzyme that makes CoQ10 as well as other things. So if you're on a statin, you're probably deficient in CoQ10. And
you have muscle pain, muscle weakness, fatigue, that type of thing.
Very common in statin users.
Exactly, because CoQ10 is part of it helps with our mitochondrial function, ATP production, obviously in the mitochondria. So if you're on a statin, you really should be on a CoQ10. And I would say probably 1 out of 10 clients that I see has been told when they're on a statin, there's been told by their doctor to take CoQ10. Most of them have never 10 heard out of 10?
Really?
No, most have never been told that. And particularly if they come to me, they have got muscle weakness and muscle pain and fatigue and that type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't been told. They're just told, no, those side effects should subside. And they're not really going to subside. So CoQ10 really important for that. And anyone over 50 should be taking CoQ10. Very good for, obviously, cardiovascular health.
So me, not you, me.
Yeah, not me, Steve. No, not me. And the ubiquinol form, not the ubiquinone.
Yeah.
Hasn't we said this before? When after 50 you lose the enzyme that converts ubiquinone to the active ubiquinol.
Yep.
You kind of lose that enzyme.
You do.
So the ubiquinol form for over 50 is
Much better.
the one that you need.
It's usually more expensive, but
It is more expensive, but,
Can I get to the elephant in the room?
Yes.
A very controversial supplement.
Yes.
Creatine. Oh, now this is tricky. I mean, we've got a table here that says in the morning, but there's lots more studies on this, and there's a study called I love the title of this. That's why I brought it in.
Oh, yeah,
here.
I do like this.
It's called Creatine O'Clock. Does timing of ingestion really influence muscle mass and performance? And that's published in Frontiers in Sports and Active Living, 2022. So a nice paper. It's written largely by Scott Forbes, who's a bit of a legend in the industry. I love Scott Forbes. So, well, I don't. But I follow him online. Is that the right one?
Admire him.
Yeah, I do admire him.
Yeah.
Lots of people I admire. Now, let's give a bit of background for creatine. It peaks about 2 hours after ingestion and remains elevated for about 4 hours. So based on that, and this is what the paper is saying, creatine before exercise may be ideal. And when you look at studies, it doesn't really matter.
No.
But it's a bit of a controversial one because it's also... It helps get absorbed when you have carbohydrates, but you may not want to have that with things, blah, 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 blah. So this is an interesting study where they go through all different studies and the whole summary of this one, and you can comment on this paper. It says conclusions. So conclusions. To date, it appears that pre-exercise, several hours before or immediately prior, and post-exercise, creatine ingestion produced similar muscle benefits in young and older adults. So they go on to say the studies are limited, and what they suggest is you have it beforehand because you'll get more energy while you're exercising.
Yep.
So I'm in that camp.
Yeah, I'm in that camp.
But certainly we'll get emails saying, no, I take it afterwards, and it's like, yeah, okay. So
whatever works. I mean, I feel it. If I take it, I feel it,
Yeah.
that I have better energy, I'm stronger.
Yep.
I can feel it. So, yes, I always take it before I exercise. And if there's a day where I'm not doing, and I'm talking resistance training here, not cardio. If there's a day when I'm not doing resistance training, I just take it in the morning anyway. Like at any time, it doesn't really matter. I'd take it every day, no matter what. But if I'm exercising heavy resistance, definitely before.
I agree. And that's what the papers are saying. An earlier study in 2016 called Timing Optimal Dose and Intake of Duration of Dietary Supplements with Evidence-Based Use in Sports Nutrition, that's 2016. They said afterwards, so this is why it's a bit of a confusion. But and they also talk about other nutrients and that sort of thing like caffeine and beta-alanine and all that sort of stuff. So beta-alanine, for example, is something that forms carnitine in the muscles with histidine, another amino acid. So that buffers acid build-up. So you take that before you exercise.
Yeah.
That's the one that gives you the tingles.
It does give you the tingles. I don't like it.
Oh, don't you?
No, I don't like it.
I kind of like it.
Oh, yeah, I don't. And you get to the point where it doesn't give you the tingles after a while. Like
I get used to it.
But what about loading creatine, Steve?
Oh,
now that's also controversial.
Jeez. All right. Well, it depends. I mean, I've looked at the pharmacokinetics on this. Now, loading, just so you know, is people used to take 20 grams, still do probably.
Yeah.
Take 20 grams a day for 5 to 7 days, depending on loading dose.
Yeah.
And then you take 3 to 5 grams after that.
Yeah.
Scott Forbes and the guys say, look, loading's all right if you want to get the levels of creatine up fast. But if you don't need to get them up fast, you can just take 3 to 5 grams per day. This paper, the one I'm reading out now, the older one, talks about a loading dose, which is fine. But again, it's up to the individual.
It is.
I don't think you
don't need to.
You
don't need to. No, it depends if you want to saturate yourself with the creatine to begin with. So some people do, some people don't, but it's not an imperative thing.
Hey, we sell creatine. Let's saturate the hell out of it. No.
Yeah.
I mean, look, that's sort of, I mean, I always refer to Richard Kreider, who's a legend in this area. Scott Forbes, these guys talk about this, and you honestly don't need to. At the end of the day, you don't need to. Do you want to, if you want to knock yourself yourself out. There's
And
no
I think
kidney
everyone
problems.
should be on creatine. And we've done a few podcasts previously that tell you the reasons why.
Yep.
It's not just for training and big muscles. I put postmenopausal women on creatine a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But I would put most people on creatine because it's so good for, neuroinflammation or, cognitive function. It's good for so much stuff. So, I think everyone should be on creatine every day. And therefore, if you're not taking it to train, take it whatever you want.
Yeah.
I usually say 5 grams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just put it, 3 to 5 grams a day is fine. I think it's great.
Yeah. That's a really good one.
That's a good one. I'll give you some other ones because I know we've still got a bit of time. Okay, so what about carnitine?
Carnitine, yeah. So
That's
generally...
amino acid sort of thing.
Yeah. Generally, I do mornings. Mornings. I don't really do evenings for carnitine.
No,
I don't find that.
It can be stimulating because it gets
Yeah.
into the brain, especially if you're acetylate carnitine, like N-acetylcarnitine.
Yeah.
That gets into the brain, increases dopamine, which is the precursor to norepinephrine and epinephrine or adrenaline.
Yep.
So it's a good one to take. It's also good before exercise to get you sort of burning fat too. So that's a good one too. But nighttime, I don't know anyone would take carnitine at
No,
night.
I would never recommend carnitine at night time because it can be stimulating.
Yep.
It makes my heart race.
Oh, does it?
It does.
Ooh, it makes my
Everything
heart
makes my
race.
heart Everything increases my heart rate, Steve.
Oh, does it? Okay.
A lot of stuff does, yeah. I'm very sensitive to anything that's a little bit stimulating, so I don't do anything stimulating at
Right.
all.
Yeah.
Carnitine, and I think I said in the podcast the other day, if you have any thyroid issues,
Yes.
watch your carnitine intake, no more than 500 milligrams a day. So, but if you have hyperthyroidism, go to town because it might help to slow things down a
Absolutely.
little bit.
So anyone with Graves' disease, the bulgy eyes one.
Yeah.
All right. Melatonin is a bit of an obvious one. Melatonin helps you sleep.
Yeah.
If you want to be specific, it peaks at about half an hour. So half an hour before you sleep. And if you can get the lozenge ones, not the capsulated ones, because then you got to dissolve the capsule to get into the melatonin. So there are lozenge ones. You can either, that sort of thing. So it's a bit of an easy one, mate.
Well, but
There's a but.
your body will also adapt to it and it becomes
Yeah.
less and less effective.
Yeah.
So you need to kind of cycle on and cycle off melatonin.
Yeah.
So people would just take it continually every night, whatever. It can lose its effectiveness. So if you cycle off it for a week and then go back on it again, it seems to work better. Just a little tip.
Good point.
Yeah. So that week that you're not on it, you have to figure out something else to help you sleep.
Gee, I can't think of anything else. Well, we talked about adaptogens before.
So many things.
So many things. There's herbs and,
Herbs, your L-theanines, your GABAs, magnesiums, then your herbs, passion flowers, your skull caps, loads of stuff. Andrographis, withania. We could go on and on.
Yeah.
There's loads.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you a bit of all right. What about omega-3s? It says here omega-6s as well, but
Yeah, we don't
need to supplement that. We're Australians.
We have enough of it. That's all I eat.
We eat way too much omega-6.
Yeah.
So omega-3 supplements, okay, they're sort of neutral when it comes to stimulating. When do you prescribe them?
So because I do, I'm not going to say high dose omega-3s, but I guess probably high dose and maybe someone might take. I split them. So I'll do them either throughout the day or depending on if someone, because they're quite big capsules. Some people doesn't want to down 3 or 4 of them at once.
A standard capsule is about 1 gram, but you can
1
get
gram.
more than that now.
Yeah, so I use high strength ones, and I usually recommend between 2 and 4 a day. If I do 2, it's because somebody doesn't want to take a lot of them, but I do up to 4 a day. I take 4 a day.
Yeah, okay.
So I split them with food. I just take them with food, and then it's only because they're big capsules. So
and the acids in them, the fatty acids, I should say, so people get specific. They're obviously fat soluble, so you take them with food.
Yeah.
So you've got eicosapentaenoic acid and docosahexaenoic acid, and they're very good for your body in many, many ways, brain, etc. But a heart and all that stuff. But we're not talking about that. But that's the timing of them. I'll throw this one out to you. Some people still take probiotics. I don't, but I haven't for years. But probiotics have a special time, about 30 minutes before food, so it's on an empty stomach, so they bypass the stomach. I remember when we used to make them years ago. That was the theory on that. Is it still the current?
Well, I don't go with that, no. This is my thing.
Good.
So I prescribe probiotics a lot.
Yep.
The reason being because I've prescribed different types of probiotics. They're not just here, take a complex and go for it. They're all very specific for different things.
That's true.
To be honest, I always prescribe them with food.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I always prescribe them with food. I just think, if you're getting some prebiotics and things in there with your food as well, some fibres and things, they'll work really well together, unless I'm prescribing it for a specific thing. So, if you have a lot of gut inflammation, I might give you a Lactobacillus plantarum 299V, which is very good.
I remember that one.
Yeah, it's good for gut sensitivities and things. You can take that on an empty stomach. I also give soil-based probiotics a little bit now as well.
Oh, soil-based probiotics. Now, you better talk to the public about what that is.
So soil-based probiotics, we used to get them a lot from soil, believe it or not.
I used to get them a lot when I was eating worms as a kid,
Yeah. So, but because our food is so processed and cleaned and everything now, we don't really get the soils. We're not really growing. Well, some people do. I do grow my own food, but the soils and the probiotics in the food. So soil-based probiotics, they're very tough. So they will get through the stomach acid and all that sort of thing. They survive all that really easily and get there to where they need to go. And they have some really amazing benefits. So I do use them a lot, and they're just so tough that you can have them on an empty stomach, have them with food, they'll get to where they need to go. So I prescribe those a lot, generally with there's a particular product I use that's got PHGG with it as well. So partly hydrolyzed guar gum.
Which is a sort of fibrey sort of stuff,
Yeah. So it depends on the type of probiotic that you're giving, but just for general public, if you're taking a probiotic, you can take it without, and the directions can be without food, but I've always given it with food.
Okay.
I just find that works well with food.
Well, you're talking about in soil because they live in soil. They're probably in the class of what they call extremophiles.
They are extremophiles, yeah. It always reminds me of the X-Files when I say extremophiles.
Does it?
Yeah, it sounds really like...
Well, I mean, they live in... Does it? I don't say.
No, it's my brain.
No, that's all right. The X-Files is an old show that only old people would know about anyway, won't they, Nic?
Well, yeah. I don't know how I know about it then. So
yeah, you're so young. You must have watched the reruns with Sully and
Mulder.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. There's another oldie in the room.
Another oldie, yeah. Someone knows it. That's cool. But the extremophiles, we used to think bugs were real sensitive things, and now we discovered them in Volcano, or was that what's that park? Yellowstone National Park. They discovered extremophiles there.
Yeah.
Even maybe in space, maybe on Mars. I mean, imagine finding bugs on Mars.
What's the other thing I was going to... Oh, yeah, so soil-based probiotics. Very good for SIBOs and things.
It's small intestinal bacterial overgrowth.
Yeah. Here's one for you, Steve. Digestive enzymes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you'd think this was obvious.
Yeah, this is a little bit obvious because you're digesting food with digestive enzymes.
Yes.
So you take it with food.
Yes, but...
Do you take it at the same time?
But.
Yeah.
Yes, if I'm prescribing it for digestive issues, yes. But you can also prescribe it away from food and it becomes anti-inflammatory.
Yes, it eats the protease.
Because it eats all the little bugs and protease and things like that. So it cleans things up a little bit if you're taking it on an empty stomach. Because it's it digests stuff. So you take it with food, breaks down, digests the food, take it on an empty stomach, it can sort of break down some of the more inflammatory things that are in there. So it is actually anti-inflammatory.
Wow.
So you can take it on an empty stomach for that purpose.
It's true, yeah. I didn't think of that. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. So that's a good one.
Yeah.
Well, there's electrolytes here. Now electrolytes like sodium, potassium, we'll stick at those two because we've talked about magnesium and calcium. There are other electrolytes.
Yeah.
Now, do we? I mean, they are supplemented with athletes. They take electrolytes. Have you got any tips about when you take electrolytes?
Just when you're dehydrated.
Yeah.
If you sweat a lot, if you've had diarrhea, vomiting, things like that, you need electrolytes. You can take them any time of the day, really. Yeah. It doesn't matter.
For a healthy individual, you probably don't need them. No, I mean, I have a lot of sodium in my diet.
Yeah.
We've done podcasts on sodium as not being the enemy, I eat salted nuts every day, all day. You've seen the container I've got out there that you snack into every counter. They're full of salt. So obviously I'm not a salt phobe, but
if you're having vegetables and things, you potassiums, you get that sort of stuff. So you don't, but athletes, exercise, workouts, sweating, definitely really important to get your electrolytes. And, if you really struggle to hydrate well, and that can be a big factor. You're not having, a lot of people don't have much sodium in their diet. They're super clean and they're not adding a lot of salt. Really important to get that sodium in there. So you can put it in your water if you're really dehydrated. So it could be good for that.
Yeah, and chloride is the mineral that attaches to sodium, and that is lost a lot during sweat, surprisingly amount.
Yeah.
All right. So are there any other supplements you want to bring up that's a bit that we haven't covered?
Yes, because I do see clients that come to me that are on these things quite a bit.
Oh, what is it?
Binders.
Binders?
Yeah, I get a lot because
like diatomaceous earth?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because
That's still a thing.
charcoal, zeolites, all of those types of things.
People still take that stuff?
Yeah, they do. They just have a resurgence because they're very good at, obviously, strangely enough, binding things up.
Binding things up,
So they can be good for infections, gut infections and things like that, toxins, molds, that sort of thing. So people will do their own research and get onto a binder. But the thing you've got to be careful about with a binder is because it binds everything up, is it's also going to bind up your essential nutrients.
Of course it is.
So you need to take them a couple of hours away from food because you want to have them on an empty stomach. And I find some people just take them. And some people take them that have come to me that are taking like things like diatomaceous earth because that was quite popular years ago.
It was.
They take it every day as a health supplement. I'm like, do not do that. Not every day. It's going to bind all your essential nutrients. So take it short term for whatever goal, whatever reason you're taking it for, to bind up whatever's going on in your gut, if that's what you're doing it for. Don't just do it as a health supplement because you don't want to take it all the time.
I didn't know people were still taking that every day.
Yeah, a lot of people take them.
I suppose if a little bit's good, more's better, isn't it?
And that's right. And there's so much stuff around about mold now as well.
Yeah.
Mold illness, people get into the binders. So that's one you'd want to be careful of. Slippery elm, I prescribe slippery elm a lot. Again, take that away from supplements and things if you can, because it will basically slow the absorption down. And one thing which we didn't go into and we won't, but medications. Be really careful with supplements and medications.
Sure, yeah.
Because there can be a lot of contraindications.
Yeah.
Sometimes, they're both metabolized down the same pathways. So they can either increase the, recirculate the prescription medication and you get higher levels than you should, or decrease it and you get lower levels than you should. So you've got to be careful if you're on any medications. Talk to a professional. Don't just go out and start dosing up with supplements because you can have contraindications. So
absolutely, and even really certain foods.
Yeah, definitely certain foods.
Oh, the classic one that we all know about is grapefruit and beta blockers. I think that's even on the packet.
Yeah.
Because the nanogenin, which is in grapefruit, slows down beta blockers, detoxification. You might go, oh, that's good. No, you'll end up with toxic levels of beta blockers if you have too much grapefruit.
Yeah.
And especially if you imagine grapefruit juice. And you end up with the blood pressure too low and you pass out, hit your head or crash on the motorway. It's really problematic.
Yeah, and a lot of this, there's quite a few of these that I'm super careful with medications. I'll err a bit more on the side of caution. SSRIs, everything, and because the supplements can really change how the drug is metabolized. So you can end up with too much, not enough. So be careful about that if you're on medications. Just check into it.
Hypericum is the one that speeds up the detoxification of a lot of drugs.
Yeah,
which is sometimes not what you want.
No.
Most times, because you're
not getting the benefit of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
gee whiz. I mean, it's tricky, isn't it? It's a bit of a minefield. We go to do a podcast on drugs and nutrient.
I know, we should actually drug nutrient interactions. That's a really interesting.
That's a good one.
Really
That's a good one. Is that like a...
Yeah, because I deal with it all day. So
yeah, you do. I don't think about it because I don't take many drugs.
I mean, if you want to come and
no, I'm joking. That's a joke for those. Don't write in.
I know someone comes with this long of medications, like it makes it really a lot more challenging to try to even so many interactions with herbs and things. So. If you want us to do a podcast on that, let us know in the comments.
Let us go in the comments. Now there are some beneficial interactions like CoQ10 and statins we talked about. Yeah. That's good to take together.
Yeah, so there's other we will actually, maybe we should do a podcast on that because there's other medications that they cause depletions. So you actually have to add in some of the nutrients because they deplete them. So
aspirin and vitamin C.
Yeah, there's loads of them. Some of the B vitamins are depleted. Sodium can be depleted.
Yeah.
So we should do a podcast on that.
You can make potassium toxic if you take a potassium-sparing diuretic.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a good title. This is a good title. Wow,
that could be really good.
Good on you, Nick. Good thinking.
Yeah. So, basically, with all your supplements, don't just slam them down because they're not going to have the effects that they should. So make sure you're taking them at the right time, making sure you're taking a fat-soluble with food if it's a fat-soluble vitamin. Yep. Make sure you're taking your probiotics with food or without, whatever you want to do. But, just don't just slam them down. Time them, and you get the full benefit of them, Steve.
Absolutely.
And also form matters, Steve.
Form, So
I very rarely prescribe tablets.
Ah.
Because tablets... Yeah, they are. They're harder to break down. One, they're full of fillers because they have to be bound up, and sometimes toxic kind of fillers and things.
Yeah, there's some shit ones.
So I don't generally do tablets.
Yeah.
Occasionally, depending on what it is, I might have to do. But otherwise, tablets, capsules and powders.
Yeah.
Are my two preferred forms.
Much better.
And a lot of times capsules, I actually get people, and I do it myself, I don't take a lot of capsules. I open the capsules up and empty it out. Unless it's something like HCl or something, don't do that. But or if you don't like the taste, I don't care, I slam it down. But yeah, powders are really good because they absorb a lot easier. And if someone has compromised digestive function, then you don't want to be giving them tablets. It's just harder to break them down. So
do you break apart berberine tablets?
No. I don't.
I had to ask you that.
No, I have my limits, but
Berberine's the foulest tasting stuff on the planet.
Awful. Yeah, but yeah, so right form, powders, capsules, right timing, with the right food, avoid interactions. There's a lot in it.
A lot. No wonder you go to school for so many years. Jeez.
Yeah.
How many years have I been to? Oh, God, it's scary. Oh, Nic, this has been amazing. I think it's about all we've got time for today, but we will see everyone next week.
Yeah.
Hey, Nicole.
Hey, Stephen.
We have got some...
That was very official.
We have got some...
You don't call me Nicole very often, Steve.
I know. I just had to get your attention.
Oh, is that right?
Because you got to answer this question. I've got a question for you. Okay. This is our frequently...
FAQs.
I love FAQs.
I love them. They're fun.
FAQs. You've got to be careful how you say that. It sounds like a swear word almost to me. All right. Nic, hi. This is Josh from Ipswich. Hi, I'm an amateur CrossFitter with tiny calves. I didn't make that up.
Josh said that's why.
And often experience fatigue during my recovery periods. Okay, so do I. Are there any natural supplements or herbs that could improve recovery time and reduce muscle soreness without relying on synthetic products? Keep the podcast coming. Love them. Okay. That's a common one.
It is a common one. Steve.
I've got an idea, but I think it'll be.
Give me your ideas first. No, gentlemen before ladies.
Is that how it works? All right. First thing I would do is make sure as soon as you finish your exercise is to have some quality protein, typically collagen protein, because that's what your muscles are made of. You destroyed them, get that into your system.
Yep.
The other suggestion I have is a very basic one, but make sure after you do a severe event, try and go to bed early, try and sleep as long as you can. I know it sounds weird, but sleep is the best time to recover. All right, so they're my two ideas. You got any others? What other herbs and nutrients?
Oh, well, after you've done your workout and you've gone a couple of hours, and you can start to bring in your anti-inflammatories.
Yep.
So your vitamin C's and your other anti-inflammatory type herbs. Fish oils can be really good as well. So
turmeric,
turmerics, those types of things are really good. Even the magnesiums and that sort of stuff are really good as well. And even Epsom salts baths, Steve.
Oh, yeah.
Like load your bath up with Epsom salts. Yeah. I mean, like a couple of big cups at least. And that's a really good way. And just sit in it, and that actually can be really helpful because it also absorbs.
Yeah.
So that's another really cool thing to do. So.
Epsom salts is magnesium sulfate for those who are playing along home.
Yeah, and stretch.
Oh, yeah.
People forget to stretch a few hours to stretch out.
I forget to stretch.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I don't like stretching. I hate it.
Oh,
actually.
I've been stretching for years and I'm shit at it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah, it hurts. Just
hurts. That's right. It's good for you though. So that's a good one, Nic. Now, Brooke from Brisbane, big fan of the podcast, especially Steve because he's so hot. And don't laugh when I say that.
That was so not
I'm trying to make it sound like somebody, a woman thinks, it's not true.
It's not true.
No, I better read this properly now. A big fan of the podcast.
It's not true.
No,
it sounded terrible, isn't it? I mean, it's not true that it's written. It's not written there. It's not true.
It's certainly not true either. And they're not written there. Big fan of the podcast and know anyone can help, you guys can. I've been struggling to lose weight despite eating healthy and exercising regularly. Could there be any underlying nutritional deficiencies or hormonal imbalances that are preventing weight loss? How can I tell and how can I address them naturally? This is from Brooke, so obviously a woman from Brisbane.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
That's a broad question. And first thing I would say is go back and listen to our podcast on the 5 lesser known causes of weight loss.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We did a podcast on this.
Sorry, we did. There's so many. It could be thyroid. It could be sex hormone imbalances.
Yep.
It could be inflammation.
Yep.
It could be gut dysbiosis.
Gut's a big one.
It could be high stress, so cortisol. It could be lots of different things. It could be toxic burden. It could be depending how old you are, Brooke, you know. So the first thing I would say is get some testing done.
Yeah.
Get some
Organic
blood
acid
tests and start and include sex hormones in there.
Yes.
But yeah, that would be my first thing to see if you've got any imbalances,
Yep.
to see if your hormones are out of whack or not. So yeah, if you're getting your hormones tested, you need to get them tested in a particular part of the month to see the levels.
Yep.
I generally, as a general rule, because most people, the main sort of imbalances I see is low progesterone in cycling women. So I get them to do the testing in sort of 7 to 10 days before their period's due.
So day 21 is the standard,
21 roughly. If you're looking more at specifically estrogen, it'd be sort of like day 5-ish. But just a general, if that's a bit too complex, too much to sort of think about initially, just get some general full bloods.
Yep.
And to start there, to actually have a look at. And then if you've got any gut symptoms, so bloating, constipation, diarrhea, gas, heartburn, any of that sort of stuff, food intolerances, then there could be an issue with the gut that's going on. So you want to look into that.
That's good. And now testosterone too, because a lot of women who don't
Yes.
lose weight, they could have high testosterone, could be smashing it at the gym and putting on muscle.
Yeah.
So she said not weight, not fat. So
Well, that's true.
So that's interesting too.
Or low testosterone.
And I'm a bit skeptical when someone says despite eating healthy. I say, what does eating healthy mean?
Well, that's
and
right.
what does exercising mean? And I'm going to use an extreme example. Okay, I eat really healthy. I have oats for breakfast, I have wholemeal bread for lunch, and I have, brown rice for dinner with, it could be super high and that's healthy to some people, maybe not to. And my exercise, I make sure I do 10 minutes walk every week. You know what I mean? I'm extreme, but it's like, what does that mean?
You know, the other thing, and I see this a lot, it's like my meals are on point. Like they're on point. I've got the macros, I've got everything. Yeah. But they don't count their snacks, their sauces.
Yeah.
And I have seen quite a few people that take nut butters, and I just have a little bit of nut butter. And they actually
high calories.
grossly underestimate how much nut butters they're having.
Yeah.
And they're highly caloric dense.
Yeah.
So sauces, high sugars and things, they don't add the sauces in. So people really underestimate what actually. So when I tell people to track their food for 3 to 5 days, just 3 to 5 days, I don't tell people to count calories or track their food regularly unless they're an athlete.
Yep.
But you need to get a metric. You need to see exactly what you're eating. And most people don't want to do it because it's scary to see actually what you can be eating. So some people who think they're on a 1,500 calorie diet could be on up to a 2,500 calorie diet. You would be very surprised what could happen. So that would be my first thing, even before anything, is track your calories for 5 to 7 days, see exactly what you're taking in, and then you could be taking in too many calories. So that's
good one.
Start. Or not enough calories. That's the other end of the scale, maybe not enough calories. So you're basically causing your metabolic function to sort of adapt and slow down, which then impacts your thyroid function, slows everything down. So start by tracking your calories for a few days.
Absolutely. And the guy behind the camera said before the podcast, we were talking about something totally different. He said, you can't manage what you can't measure.
That's right.
So true. So true.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to read this one out for you.
Oh, okay.
Steve-O.
Looks like I wrote this one in.
Oh, does it?
A little bit.
Bit of a zombie.
Sounds like, a bit of it.
This one's from Sam from Melbourne.
Yeah.
Help. I've been waking up feeling like a zombie every morning and no amount of coffee can bring me back to life. Are there any natural remedies or magical potions that can help me sleep like a baby and wake up feeling like an actual human being again, Steve?
It's pretty common now. On top, and I'm going to take the devil's advocate to start with. Probably not the best way to start, but people go, "Oh, okay, I'm tired in the morning, so I don't exercise." It's like it's better to be disciplined than it is to be motivated. So if you need to get moving in the morning, I don't care how you feel. It's like, you've got to be disciplined to do it. You don't have to be motivated.
No.
I'm not motivated to go to the gym. I'm not motivated any morning of the week.
We're both disciplined, Steve.
And my wife, when we're chatting there and we got a day off and I'm about to go for a run and I'm sitting there just talking to her and I'm putting it off. And it's like, no, I've got to go. And I'll go. And she always says, go for the run, get it. Oh, okay. And once you do that, you're out there and you're about. But okay, let's just assume I would start at sleep. I'd get them a quality sleep so they're not tired in the morning.
Yeah.
They can still feel like a zombie, but they're not tired. So we eliminate that tiredness out of the body. The second thing is in the morning, yes, coffee is good, but coffee has about 80 milligrams of caffeine. There are supplements out there with hundreds of milligrams of caffeine which you can take to get yourself going, like I do. You know, as I said, I'm not. You know, everyone thinks we're naturalists. We wake up and we're bounding out of bed and rip 10 push-ups before I go to the loo. And no, I get up in the morning. I'm like, oh God, and I really am. You know, you're just sluggish.
I bounce out of bed.
Do you?
Yeah, I've never had an issue in the mornings.
Oh shit.
Yeah, but then I'm dying. Yeah, but by 8 o'clock at night.
9 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say.
No, because I don't do stimulants, so I don't have to rely on. I don't rely on stimulants. I don't think we've had this conversation with just. I don't think people should rely on stimulants, and they don't need to rely on stimulants.
No.
Some people want them because they love their coffee. Fine, but if you need it, then there's an underlying problem because we have something in our body called ATP that we make.
Yep.
It creates its energy for us.
It's energy.
So
yep.
we don't really need to. So that's just me. But you should have quite a bit of energy in the morning.
Yeah.
And then obviously drop off at night. That's really it should be. But yes, there's many reasons not to. Sleep, diet.
Yep, diet. We've got to keep diet. Yeah.
Managing their blood sugars throughout the day.
Yeah, if you have a high carbohydrate meal at night, a lot of people do. That's problematic. You always feel shit the next day. Like when I say I'm exaggerating a little bit when I'm saying I'm sluggish in the morning, but I do take a nootropic in the morning.
Old, Steve. So
I am old.
You need something.
I'm mid-50s, 55. Born in the summer of 69, as the song says. So I find that a nootropic, not just like I'd go to the gym without it, but if I'm feeling a bit more pepped up, I'll actually work out harder.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of an enhancement and it's a bit of a cheat. And if you take one natural sweeteners and that, it's not harmful for you.
No. And I have nothing against them. I'm just saying you shouldn't rely on them. But if you're going to the gym, yes, there's some great sort of pre-workouts and things you could get
Just
on.
don't do a Ronnie Coleman. When it was one scoop, he'd take 3.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't do that.
He'd go nuts in the gym. So you don't want to abuse it, but a little bit of pep up is okay. But also if your days are struggling, you can take adaptogens in the morning with B vitamins, and they work really good. And you get the stimulatory adaptogens. So there's withania in the morning is good, Siberian ginseng, and the B vitamins.
Yeah, Siberian ginseng, one of my favourites. So good. Yeah. So that's a good little mix. Your bees, your Siberian, your
That's a really good one.
Yeah, really good.
Apart from that's what I'd suggest. But try and look at the sleep. I think is the main thing there.
Yeah.
So that's a good one, Nick. Well, that's about all we've got time for. That's all the questions we've got. So we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
That's right, Steve. Yes, that's right.
Why are you laughing?
Yeah, tell me. Let's talk about Rutin.
Too.
That's right, Steve. Yes, that's right.
Why are you laughing? Rutin is a good bioflavonoid.
It is Rutin. Yes, it is. It's a bioflavonoid.
How do you spell it again?
Rutin.
It's Rutin.
Yes.
It's really tricky. Nothing stimulate Nick.
I don't know if anyone can hear Matt's just cracking up in the background. It's nothing to do with mine. I don't even want to know what you two goes on your brains.
I'm married. I don't do anything stimulating. Oh my God. Nice crack today.